Hey everyone, today we're going to look at branching in game design when we're using Minecraft Education. Alright, here we go. So this is part of the whole game design series that we have put together, and this part looks at branching. We're going to look at three types of branching. The first one is if and then we're going to look at something called sequence branching, and then we're going to have a look at until branching. Now you can do this specifically inside MakeCode with Code Builder. We're actually going to focus on what this looks like physically if we were using command blocks. So taking that same logic but building it into the game with command blocks. So let's pause for a moment and we're going to have a look at a bit of a visual that we're going to use to explain this. So we're going to have a look at a really basic if and then, and we can see it here on the screen, the space we're going to work within. So keeping this nice and simple, we're going to kind of set up this room where we have to answer a true or false question. And we're going to use command blocks to to hold the decisions for us. Now, if our player hits true, it will give them a lever and they can use that lever to progress to the next stage. If the player chooses false, this is going to teleport them back to the start. But you could kind of choose from all of the variety of multiple commands and come up with your own ideas in that space. So it's going to be made up of two different areas here we can see. So false, if our player chooses false, then we're going to run that command. So that TP command, which is going to affect the player. There are specific coordinates there that we have, so we make sure that we write those ones down. So we're going to move the player to 493 32 144, and I'll show you in a second exactly where that number is coming from. And we can also do the one whereby they're facing as well, and we'll have a look at that. But that if they choose the correct answer, they'll be given a lever instead, which is just our basic give command. So let's have a look. Let's build this first. So opening Minecraft back up again. Now that wrong answer, getting teleported back to that start position, we are, if I look at my numbers, pretty close to that position. If I kind of move around to try and find it, it is going to be somewhere around about here, I reckon. There we go. Now, if you don't see it up in the top left like I do, you just need to escape, go into settings, and then scroll down until you can see world options and make sure that show coordinates here is turned on. That will then appear for you. And you can see that I'm actually standing in the same position that I wrote down. If I move around, those numbers will change. Now, you would have noticed it was also a facing position. Now, I want the player to be facing this direction. And so if I move forward, you'll notice that the 144 changes. So that's just why that number changes to 145. It's if I wanted the player to be facing this direction, if I move, we'll notice that the 492 changes to 493. So I'd change it to that and they would be facing this direction, so on and so forth. So let's go into the next room. Let's have a look. Now we've kind of got this set up. Our question's even there for us in this example. Let's grab everything that we need here. And we've got our question. A button can be used to trigger our command block, true or false. So let's put our command blocks in, 1, 2 command blocks in, and then we need to put it in for it. So a button can be used to trigger a command block. So the answer is true. So because that's the right answer, we're going to give the lever for the correct answer. So it's / give, and then it's at P, so the nearest player, and then it's just lever, nice and simple. But if they get it wrong, they go back to the start of the game. So this is where we put our teleport command, so / TP at the player, and then this is where we need to write our numbers down. So this is where pen and paper gets really useful. So 493 32 144, and then the facing isn't necessary, but it's a nice touch. So 493 32, and then I'm going to go one more up, 145, and that will make sure they're facing that direction that we were moving in. Then I'm going to use everything else here just to basically tidy up our work here. Good command block work is well hidden. Let's put our buttons there like so, and we'll test both of them. So if we, go true, there we go. There's a lever given to me, and I should be able to pop that there on the wall, and the door opens. But let's also test, more likely, false as well, and it will bring me back to the start as well. So a nice little if and then. So if I do this, then something else happens, so on and so forth. So let's move forward and look at our next one. So we've successfully done this one. We're going to move on to sequencing. Okay, let's have a look at our next section, which was all about sequencing around branching. And this is kind of based around taking different pathways, but to get to the same result. And so if we think about game design, we're going to take this concept of like a maze. I could take different paths to get to the end of the maze. In coding specifically, it's more about being more efficient with our coding, so using less lines of code to get to the same result. Let's have a look at a little bit more of a visual here. This is a bird's eye view of the house that we're standing in the game. And essentially there's a start position, but then there's an initial checkpoint where you have to answer a true or false question. Now the glitch here is that it doesn't matter. You can answer this wrong or right. It's just that if you answer it wrong, you go on a longer pathway to finish the game. If you keep answering right, you follow a shorter pathway. Now because it's just an example, we have only really got just the one extra pathway. But you can see here, if I answer it right, which is the yellow path, I just get to the next checkpoint and then the finish. If I answer it wrong, which is the blue path, I have to go through an additional checkpoint to get back onto the same position as the yellow path. Let's go forward and have a look. So there's two different paths here. There's one here, this is the shorter path, and there's one that will go this way, which is the longer path. Now, if we have a look, we've got a few things here that we're going to need. Let's grab them out. And we've got this space behind the wall because this is where we're going to hide our work. So let's put this down. I still need that one. I'm going to need one of those. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to put down just a normal command block there. I'm going to put down a comparator there. So making sure it's facing in that direction. And not that one. A repeating command block there, and I'll explain this in a second. So what basically happens here is we have to put, well, the instructions before, I didn't open it up, but the instructions in the NPC is that you have to place down the cake hidden in the kitchen on the correct answer. So either true or false. And we place it down here on the yellow, or on the pink, sorry, tile. Now I need to test for where the player puts the cake down. So in this case here, they're going to, if they answer it false, they're going to place it down here. If they place it down here, I want to open up passage B, which is the long way around. So two things I need to know. One is this position, the false position. So I'm going to stand on the false position and I'm going to write this down. So it's 499, 33, 153. So let's put that in first. Now that goes in this block, our repeating command block. So let's type that in first. So it's going to be /test for block. And then where is the block we're testing for? It's at 499, 33, 153. And then what is the actual block we're testing for is a cake. Now, with these particular ones, because it's a repeating one, we want to make sure that it is always active and it is set to repeat. We turn that on. And what it's doing is it's just constantly checking. And even right now, it's checking. And it's going, no, it's not there. No, it's not there. No, it's not there. And it will keep doing that until the cake is put down. Now, this block has nothing in it yet. But what we need in it is the coordinates of this part of the wall to fill with air, to basically open the passage. So what we're going to do is we're going to knock it out just so that we can see. There we go. That's the passage that will open. So we need to know what this space is. So we're going to stand on it. And we're going to write these numbers down. So we've got 505, 33, 153. If I walk over, 505 is the same. Now I'm going to write the last number, 154. But it goes up. So if I jump, the middle number, which is my y, is my height. So 33, the next one up must be 34, and this one must be 35. So we write down 35. Perfect. And so this orange command block is our fill command. So this will be /fill. And then where's the start position? It's going to start filling from 505, 33, 153. And then it's going to fill to 505, 35. So it'll go up to, and then go over 1 to 154. And then what do you want it to fill with? We want it to fill with air. So let's kind of reset things here. So I've got my white concrete. Let's fill this back in. And we can fill that in a second, but let's grab the cake is not in that one. It's in that one. And obviously if you were like survival or, you know, we're building this, so we're in creative, but you'd play this in survival or adventure. And so if I place this down, what we'll notice is that that's activated because it's test for that block. And because that's activated, it's caused the command in this command block to also activate, and that passage there has opened. Okay, and then I can move through to this next one. Now I'm going to quickly do the true ones, do this at double speed, and then we'll come back and look at the next one. All right, all done. So, and as you can see, everyone makes mistakes at the end there. I was stumped for a second as to why that wasn't opening, and it was just because you do need to change this so that that block is always active and it's not relying on a redstone signal to activate it. Now, essentially, I can get rid of these cakes now. I can come in here and I can cover up these for me, and I can move on to the next stage. I'm going to leave this one open because we're going to go through and look at the next sequence. Now this one's a little bit different. We're going to look at these two different commands. Now we have to look at, basically we've gone the long way around, and the player kind of has to, again, fill the space next to it with air. We're going to take two of the command blocks there and basically just use a really nice quick true or false answer question here. So we're just going to use some levers to do this. So this one is nice and simple. Now if we get it wrong, we go back to the start. So let's this is very similar to our one we did before. So let's zoom through this one and get this one done. All right, there we go, all done. So if we get the wrong answer, we pull this, it's just gonna teleport us back to the beginning, and then we'll just have to come back and choose, obviously, the only remaining one, which leaves us with the right one. So let's have a look at this last one here. And essentially what it is it's asking us to come up again with our true or false option to open up to the next space. Now the question is, which one of these can disable TNT from exploding? And the answer is game rule. Now I'm going to go through that one, and then what I want you to kind of think of is what could you do if they got it wrong. So what could you put in this command block here? Now if they're not already there, just that's all we're basically doing, so we should be pretty used to this by now. We put down our comparators, always facing in the direction that the command block is going, like so. I'm going to show you how this is going to connect up in a second. But the correct answer will open up this passage here, which is already open for us. We'll close it up in a second. So let's write these numbers down. So we've got 503, 33, 171. Let's go forward there a bit, sorry. 502, and I know it's 2 up, so it's 35, 171. Now the correct answer is this one. It's game rules, or game rule. So we're going to open this up. And every time it's a correct answer, it's basically we're filling a doorway with air, or passageway with air. So it's fill 503, 33, 171 to 502, 35, 171. Whoops, sorry, with air. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop down my block here, and I'm going to fill this in. Oops, sorry. And what I'm doing is it looks like I'm kind of putting a barrier between the two here. But when I put down a block here, you'll see it in a second. Oh, sorry, when I put an item into the chest, it will charge through this block and activate this repeater, and it will then activate the code sitting inside of that. So let's have a look. I'm not going to fully close this wall. So the idea here is you put the diamond in the chest. So I've only got, one diamond, so there's really only one option. Do you know what? I haven't filled that wall in. That's going to help. Otherwise, we're not going to notice it. So let's grab it. Diamond goes in. Wall has opened up, but we can see how that's powered through. So you can power through one block, okay? And the idea is that, again, this would be filled, and so we wouldn't see that work going on behind it, and then we can push through and move to the next part. Now, our last one here is until branching, and essentially we've got a sequence of things that have to happen. Now, what every player is always going to do is go, oh, a vault, go down here, and in this case it's open to make it a little bit easier. But the idea is that we want to break into here to, get all the diamonds. But in reality, it's closed. It's locked up. And then when we come in here, that what's going to tell us is that, well, we actually need to complete part 1 and part 2 to get into the vault. And what that basically means is that it's like a key. We need 2 glowstones that are going to sit here in order for this to open. And so we need to set this up. So we're creating the game, remembering that. So what we're going to do is we're going to head up and set up the 2, little mini missions that need to be completed in order for us to get into the vault. Now we've got this very first one here, which is our first branching activity. And very first one here, someone's stolen a crossbow, okay? We need to find it. And then using command blocks and the space that's right next to us, when we find that crossbow, we're going to put it into an item frame. Once it's in the item frame, we're going to receive our glowstone. So we need to kind of set up that entire experience. So let's have a look at our little setup here. So we know we're going to have to give someone a glowstone. So let's have a look. We've got a command block. We'll take that. Let's just take everything that's here. So we definitely know it's a give command. And if you're ever unsure how glowstone is written or anything in that case, glowstone is actually quite an easy one. Always just go enter /give and then @p and then start writing what it is that you want. So glowstone is just one word. There's no underscores in it, so it keeps it nice and simple. So let's put in our command block at the back there. It's going to be /give @p for the player, and we're going to give them a glowstone. stone. Okay. Now, it needs to be activated by the crossbow that is put into the item frame. So let's put that down. So that's our comparator. So that's waiting to transfer our signal. And then we've got our item frame. So we need to put the item frame is waiting to basically receive it. So, we could really put it on anything, I guess. We can put our item frame like that, and we could put a barrel there, or who knows. It's really up to you how you want this to look. But part of it is we do kind of want to hide things. Now the crossbow is hidden, so that's also part of our game. It is somewhere up here. I didn't make it too difficult. There it is there. Let's grab that crossbow. We're also in creative, so we probably could have just grabbed it out of the inventory, but that's okay. So let's go back down. And all we need to do now is just drop or place this crossbow onto our item frame. And we've been given that glowstone. So let's have a look at kind of what's going on here. So basically that item frame has sent that signal through, activated the comparator, and triggered the command block to go. So we've got our first glowstone. That's, good start. Let's look at the second one, which is up here. So in this case, we need to retrieve a missing bee's nest. It's located way above our head, so we need to set up a command that gives the player the ability to jump up and retrieve it. And then we need to set up a command or command blocks within the barrels so that when the player places the bee nest in front of the NPC, they're given the glowstone. Remember to hide all of our work. Okay, so a couple of things that are going to happen here. Is there anything in here that we don't have? We don't have this one. So let's take that, and we don't have the repeating one, so that's going to be useful. Let's put our crossbow back. So our very first one. So we have to put the bee's nest down here. So that's going to constantly always be testing. So we've kind of played around with this one before. So let's work kind of backwards here. So we've got orange is going to be our give. So that's our glowstone. So let's put that in. We know this one. So it's give at the player glowstone. Now making sure that that comparator is facing the correct direction like that. And then we want to put in repeating command block. Now first things first, let's change it so that it's just always active. And then we're going to go test for block. And then we need to know where it's testing. Okay, so let's go have a look. We're going to put the bee's nest down here right in front of this NPC. So I'm going to write those coordinates down. So 527 51171. And it's also even worth checking how the game searches for or looks for a bee's nest. So let's go give at player and then start writing in B. And it's quite simple. It's just B underscore nest. So that's good. Sometimes they can be a little bit different. So it's at 527 51171. And then it's B underscore nest. Perfect. That's all set up. Let's not cover it yet, just in case I've accidentally done something wrong. All right, so let's have a look at this one. So we have to get up here. This is where the bee's nest is hidden. But we're gonna set up an effect command. So we might remember that from back over here when we were learning about them. So we've got orange here. So let's put down an orange command block. Let's open that up. So it's /effect. Who's being affected? The at player, so the nearest player. We're going to do the jump underscore boost. And then let's go for about 5 and 15. Let's try that. And we need our pressure pad that we grabbed before. Let's place it on top. That should give us enough. Oh, I missed it. There we go. Perfect. Just enough jump. there's my bee's nest. Shouldn't need that pressure pad anymore. Let's grab that out. Now, I've got some slime there to land on. Oh, it doesn't matter, I'm in creative anyway. Now, essentially, let's see if this works. Let's just kind of clear out some stuff out of my inventory. So I'm going to see if this works. Although I may already have glowstone in there. I do, but it's just going to give me 2. So let's place that down. And it says it's given me 1. I can see that that has lit up. And basically, I've now got 2. So not forgetting here that we do want to make sure that we, hide our work as well. So it's nice and tidy. So let's go down and have a look at the very last part. Okay, so down into the vault. Let's go down here. The idea here is to open up the vault. We need to put the 2 glowstones here in this slot. It's like a key. But we have this space here ready to go. So part of it has been set up for you. Now, the instructions are in here as well as to what to do. But we have kind of already learnt this. It's just more of an in-game scenario. So, a couple of things here. We have got to put down our repeating command block, which is then going to have our redstone comparator, which is going to feed into our normal command block. And in this case, what it's going to do is it's going to test for blocks this time. It's not going to test for a block. It's going to test for multiple blocks. And if it picks up on multiple blocks, it'll then fill that gate with air. And that's what we want to happen. So these 2 blocks that are already here is what it's going to essentially compare against. But it does need to first know where it's first looking, which is essentially these 2 spots here, which is why I've left this out at the top here, because you do need to stand here. So this here is, basically our start and our finish. So it's going to look at this spot exactly where I'm standing, because I'm going to put a glowstone right there and right there. So I need to know those 2 coordinates. So I need 5, 2, 1, 27, 1, 5, 3. If I move over, it's the same, just it's 1, 5, 4 at the end, because they are my 2 spots. If it just kept going, I could just put more and more in. However, for it to work, it needs to compare it to the exact same blocks. That's why here I have 2 glowstones. So it wants to compare it to 2 exactly the same blocks and see if they match up. And if they do match up, it will go perfect. It matches, activate, essentially. So you don't specifically name the blocks. It just looks somewhere else to see if 2 of the same blocks or more match each other. And you can use multiple different blocks as well. In this case, we're just using glowstones. Now, in order to do this, and this is the part that always kind of gets a little bit tricky for everyone, is that you always want to choose the one with the smallest value. So when I look at this and I walk along them, depending on where you place them, okay, I always suggest having them facing in the same direction. So don't do them like that. It's not going to work. So have them like that, so they're facing the same direction, and then look for the one that has the smallest value. So the 51727 stays the same there. See how I move? But this is 154 and this is 153. So it's the one with the smallest value, and then it will always look further on from there for a match. So in here, this is what we write in essentially. So we write in /test for blocks. So yeah, that has to have the S. And then we write in the position of the blocks we're actually going to place in the game. So they were the first coordinates. So that was from 5, 2, 1, 27, 1, 5, 3. Remember, I've just written these down. I don't have a magical memory. Pen and paper are your best friends when you're building like this. So that's where the physical glowstones actually go in the wall. And then it says, what am I comparing it to? And we write down the smallest value. And so the smallest value was 5172615 And so that is its comparison. Now what we're saying is that if they match, if those two match up, then fill that gate space with air. So let's go and find what that is. So that's this space. So let's kind of knock this out a bit. So again, we do this quite often. I seem to follow the same theme. So 5, 2, 4, 26, 156. Let's move over 1. It's 5, 2, 3. 156 is going to be the same. Let me just check how many blocks high I've gone. Got another 2, so that's going to be 27, 28 high. Let's fill that back in like that. There we go. And then that is going to sit in there. So if those test for blocks match up, we then want to fill 5, 2, 4, 26, 156 to 5, 2, 3, 28, 156 with air. And that basically opens our vault, is the best way for us to think about it. All right, let's see how we've gone. Oh, but before, and I always forget this is just me, I did this before, this needs to be changed from needs redstone to always active. There we go. And let's grab some glowstone. So we put 1 in, it's not gonna work. Put 2 in, and the passage opens. Pretty cool, hey. So there we go, that's running successfully. Everyone is happy. And you know, what we would normally do here then is hide our work, and you would never know that that was there. Okay, and we could even get rid of, you know, if we got rid of these, it could be anything really. This could be a solid wall. This doesn't matter. It's just looking at that space in general. And I could just, it would need to be glowstone every time, but I could put my glowstone in and the passage still opens. So they are our 3 examples, quite lengthy I know, but you can skip and jump through them as you need to. I hope you enjoy making your own games, and we will see you again soon. Cheers.